Hello everybody, and welcome back to Pokemon White. So, in the last part, we explored around what we could have done in White Forest, and we had ourselves another battle with Cheren. But now, we're inside the deepest part, that is the giant chasm, where we're going to be battling the monster, the monster of Lacunosa, who also just so happens to be, well, he may not have much importance to him, but definitely within the sequels. Here's where we battle against the third dragon of Unova, Kyurem. Now, Kyurem here is at level 75. So, Kyurem is definitely going to be your most toughest legendary there. Yeah, so Kyurem is definitely going to be your most challenging legendary that you're going to be battling against with it. But anyways, now this Kyurem has this Kyurem has some moves, Dragon Pulse, Imprison, Endeavor, and its own special move, Glaciate. Now, Glaciate, yeah, well, it is Kyurem's special move. It's not exactly as strong as you would think. Yeah, it's not exactly as strong as you would think it is. Yeah, well, it does seem threatening, but it's not exactly that strong of an. It's not exactly that strong of an attack. So, honestly, that special move of Kyurem's. But however, Kyurem does get at least two new special moves, like as we get into the sequels. But for now, he only just has to have one. And wow, we actually caught him. Yeah, we actually caught him relatively quickly. Yeah, we didn't take us too. Yeah, we obviously didn't take too long. There he is. Kyurem, the boundary Pokemon. It can produce ultra cold air. Its body is frozen. Yeah, that is all that they tell you about Kyurem when it comes to the prequels. But then when we get to the sequels, however, he does get more lore out of him. anyways, everyone, now we're done with that. Yeah, finally give it back my Zekrom, that expert bell. And also, once you are done with your battle against Kyurem, now the whole chasm itself has come back to normal. So yeah, once you leave that cave, once you leap off that ledge, you cannot go back there ever again. Although, why would you anyway? Considering, well, you're not gonna get much out of it anyway. But anyways, everyone, and with that said, that should be just about everything that there is to do when it comes to the legendary Pokemon catches. Yeah, essentially, there is only really one legendary that you can catch within the post game. Well, actually two. Well, no wait, actually two if you count Landorus. Although like I said before, if you want to get Landorus, you need both Tornadus and Thundurus. So essentially, Kyurem is gonna be the only legendary that I'm gonna be getting throughout this entirety of post game. But anyways, now as I'm trying to figure out which one of my Pokemon I'm gonna give it to Carbos, Carbos to. I may as well talk about Kyurem's appearances in the anime, which is not a whole lot. Yeah, and I get it. He is legendary, so obviously, legendaries and mythicals don't usually appear that often within the anime. But Kyurem is definitely one of those exceptions. But Kyurem, despite knowing Kyurem for so long now, and yet Kyurem still barely makes any appearances in the anime. Like, the only times that we ever really see Kyurem was during the Keldeo movie. yeah, and then we got not only the special for Mystery Dungeon Gates to Infinity, the special for yeah, the enemy special for Black and White 2. And Kyurem, and then Kyurem does show up again within the Hoopa movie, and it does make at least 2 appearances in Generations, but that's really it. Yeah, that's really the only appearances that we've seen of Kyurem. Yeah, I don't think we've seen Kyurem anywhere else aside from the one I just mentioned. Yeah, like I said, I wish Kyurem got to at least show up at least a few more times. But honestly, at this point, I have no clue if he is going to be or not. Yeah, honestly, it is a real mystery to see that, you know, to at least see at least one of the few legendaries. Legendaries actually made themselves to essentially make themselves an appearance again. But oh wow, what are you gonna do? But anyways, everyone, now the area that we're gonna be going to next is essentially going to be the very last route off of the very last route of the entire game. That is until the sequels, where they actually make a few more. Until the sequels actually make a few more of them. Welcome to Route of 15. Now, starting things off here, yeah, we once again have a few battles with somebody who cannot, who he doesn't speak English with. Anyways, kid, what do you got? Oh, yes, Hippowdon! Now, as you can see, now, Hippowdon, yeah, essentially, now, he essentially has, now, well, its sprite may seem new, but I would say it is essentially the same as its Diamond and Pearl sprite. It's just that one of its legs that is usually next to his big giant mouth of his, yeah, it's not exactly raised at all. Yeah, so, and that's all really the major change that they did for Hippowdon sprite, really. Yeah. But anyways, now we have Gligar, finally! Yeah, after we did not encounter you once during our short visit to Route 11. Well, whatever. But anyways, as you saw, Gligar has a brand new sprite. And then as for Onyx, who we also finally encountered too, where we could have encountered one back in the Relic Castle, but however we did not. But anyways, as you saw, yeah, Onyx essentially has the same sprite that it had from Diamond. Yeah, Onyx essentially has the same sprite from Diamond and Pearl. But anyways, now for the building that we're going to be entering. Now, this place actually holds the location. Now, Route 15 is essentially the location where you can get access to this building, which is actually the only way for you to be able to transfer Pokemon from the over from the Gen 4 games. Now, the way they handle the transfers this time is slightly different. Now, but now, if you want to transfer, now you essentially require at least 2 DSs, and then once you go to download play, you know, with your fourth generation game. And then, just like with a Pal Park, you can send over 6 Pokemon at a time. But just like with Pal Park, you cannot transfer certain Pokemon if they are holding any sort of items, and when they have one of the hidden moves. But however, with the hate gems, well, more so with Defog and Whirlpool, if you transfer a Pokemon with Defog, that actually has to move Defog Hard Gold and Soul Silver, you can't transfer it from there. And if you have Pokemon with Whirlpool in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, you can't transfer them from there too. And next, you can't transfer any eggs, and you cannot transfer the spiky-eared Pichu. So essentially, yeah, that Pichu is essentially going to be... So for those of you who got yourselves a chance to get that spiky-eared Pichu, yeah, unfortunately it's going to be stuck in Gen 4 forever. Yeah. Yeah, that is certainly unfortunate, huh? But anyways, then after you made your mind about which Pokemon you want to transfer, now unlike Pal Park, where you essentially just go through the park itself, then after you counter the Pokemon in the wild, you simply just toss a Pokemon and get them. But now the way that you get the Pokemon to be fully transferred to this generation, you actually go through actual minigame. Now, you know, I'm obviously not gonna be able to show it off since I'm not gonna be transferring any Pokemon. But essentially, on the top screen, you will see various bushes, and the 6 Pokemon will be jumping between them. And then your task is to utilize a bow, which shoots out the Pokeballs in order for you to be able to get them. Now, the way that you control it is by utilizing the touch screen, and of course it requires very good aiming. But however, there is a reticle on the top screen in order for you to be able to see where the Pokemon is likely to land. And also, the minigame itself has a time limit to it, and also the rarer Pokemon, you know, aka the legendaries, for example, tend to move faster through the bushes. And then, as time progresses, a cloud will appear, which can make all the Pokemon fall asleep for a short time. And also, if you just happen to fail to capture them during the minigame, they will return back to the game that you're transferring them from. So essentially, yeah, with that time limit, yeah, you better make sure that you're good on your part and making sure you have very good aim, good aiming in order for you to be able to get them. But however, unlike Pal Park, you can transfer Pokemon at any time with no limits. Now, as soon as you have transferred your 6 Pokemon and completed the minigame, you will be asked if you wish to transfer more. And also, this can be done straight away and at any number of times, so you can get your Pokemon across easily. But however, as you fill up your boxes, your box limit will increase until it hits 24 boxes. So yeah, definitely keep that in mind. And essentially, that's essentially the majority of things that you really need to know. When it comes to the Poke Transfer. Well, aside from what you really have to do, if you want to be able to get access to the Zora and Zoroark, when you transfer not only Celebi, but also the shiny Entei, Raikou, and Suicune over to Gen 5, Yeah, that was a bit more an annoyance, really. But I'll probably explain a bit more as I go through the rest of the brood of encounters. And speaking of encounters, we just encountered ourselves from Mawak. Excuse me. Now, as you saw from that Mawak, now his sprite is essentially the same as the one in Diamond and Pearl. So yeah, I'm pretty sure. But, however, as for Exeggutor, on the other hand, actually has a brand new sprite. But I would say it's essentially almost identical to its Diamond and Pearl sprite. But instead of raising up on 1 foot, yeah, Exeggutor in Gen 5 really does not do that. Yeah. Anyways, everyone. Now, as for the Pokemon that you can catch here in Route 15, now you can still get you can still get your frozen socks here if you still don't have one. And this is also another route where you can finally try to get yourself another Gligar if you don't actually have one yet. Then as for the Pokemon that only show up here. Now from this place we can get in Route 15 we can get Pharaoh from Mawak, a Kangaskhan, and a Pupitar. And if you go, however, if you want to go for the rustling grass, you can actually get Tyrannitars too. So essentially, if you want to skip a Pupitar altogether, you can. And as for the Pokemon that you can find swarming here, just so happens to be Mankeys. And I believe with that said, that pretty much ends off all the Pokemon that I can list off that can be swarming. So yeah. And anyways, for this trainer, we're now battling a Medicham. Yeah, sorry, I just had to do that. But anyways, as you can see, Medicham here definitely has a Medicham has a brand new sprite. And then as for her Hitmontop, now I'm pretty sure it is the same. Now pretty sure this is the same sprite from. Now I'm pretty sure this sprite of Hitmontop, it is the same one from Heart Gold and Soul Silver. And then as for Medicham, now I want to say this is also a brand new sprite for Medicham. While at the same time, when you look at it, it also looks like it could be the same one. Yeah, it may look almost identical to its, not only its Diamond and Pearl sprite, but also, yeah, I'm also referring to its Diamond and Pearl sprite, considering, yeah, I'm also talking about Medicham's face and anything. Yeah, and for the way that Medicham has positioned its legs, yeah. But honestly, yeah, I still feel like that is a brand new sprite for Medicham. But anyways, everyone, excuse me. And with that said, I feel like that's just about wraps up. And with that's about wraps up everything that you really need to know when it comes to Route 15. But anyways, why don't I spend some time here just so I can try to get not only Pharaoh, but also Kangaskhan, Mawak, Gligar, hopefully this time, and maybe even Pupitar. Yeah. If it just don't happen to find Pupitar, oh my god. I'm probably gonna be mad, considering, for those of you who watched my Soul Silver playthrough, definitely know the horror that was for me just spending at least 20 minutes of my life just trying to get a Larvitar, then end up freaking failing at it. That is probably still the most horrific thing that I had to go through. All throughout my entirety of that playthrough. And come on, Ultra Catch. Yeah, there we go. We got ourselves the quick catch of the Gligar. Gligar, a flying scorpion Pokemon. Yeah, Gligar is indeed a scorpion that flies. But however, with Ash's Gligar, it definitely had trouble flying to begin with. But after some rigorous training, it can now fly pretty well. Oh, well now. But anyways, now that's one Pokemon down. Like, now we have 4 more. Now we have at least 4 more left to pick up. But anyways, let's see what's over here. There we go. Yeah, honestly I had a feeling if they're gonna put something like that there, yeah, I'm pretty sure there had to be at least one item there. And here's Marowak. So yeah, not only we got an encounter with Marowak from that trainer, but now we also got ourselves a wild one. Yeah, apparently this place really likes Marowaks, I guess. But anyways. Yeah, Marowak, yeah, your fling does not work unless you're holding something. So I don't know why you even bother to keep trying that. Or unless you actually were holding the bone club, then at least you would have something to throw. But anyways, Marowak, the bone keeper Pokemon. Yeah, Marowak is definitely a Pokemon that likes to keep its bone intact. Oh yeah, that's right. And I guess I should also bring this up too. Now, once we're done here, once we are done hopefully getting the rest of the Pokemon that we can get here, I have a feeling that this will most likely be the last time in this whole entire playthrough that I'm gonna try to get any Pokemon. Yeah, even through the daily business thing, considering, yeah, now I feel like, since I'm now going to be going through the Regis family over and over, which may end up spending my time just going through that. Yeah. But anyways, now we finally get something to encounter with Altaria. Yeah, after we did not find one back in Route of 14. But whatever. But as you can see, Altaria here actually has a brand new sprite. And this is actually the first sprite ever where we actually see Altaria not flying. Yeah, and this is probably the only time that we'll ever see Altaria just sitting there. Yeah. And then as for Abomasnow! Yeah, once again, sorry, I just had to do that. But anyways, as you can see, now, I want to say Abomasnow also has a brand new sprite for itself. But however, as you saw when Abomasnow jumped, yeah, it definitely looked like it was trying to do the same pose that it did for a Platinum. Yeah, I want to say it was trying its hardest to be able to do that. But anyways, I'm on board with my first Pokemon to reach level 69. Yep. Excuse me again. Okay. Alright, now, once again, you're gonna give us the same berry as that other guy gave us. Yep, that of course being the citrus berry. I am checking to see whether Pokemon that came from other regions by Poke Transfer have escaped. Well, if they did that, well, if any Pokemon did escape from the Poke Transfer, then we wouldn't have even more legendaries that we could have. Then we probably could have had even more legendaries that we could have possibly gotten. But unfortunately not. Considering that the Gen 5 legendaries are the only ones that we can actually catch here. Yeah. But anyways, there's our Pharaoh. So yeah, we're actually gonna get ourselves another Pharaoh again. But it's obviously not going to be the same one as ours. It's not going to be the same one as the one that we had during our Soul Silver playthrough. But it is probably still a good thing that we're gonna get. But it still probably is a good thing that we are still getting. But it is probably still a good thing. Good that we're gonna get ourselves another Pharaoh again. That we're gonna get ourselves another Pharaoh again. Yeah. Okay. Now let's see if we can get him. Oh, wow! Not even one shake, and at that low health. Wow, this Pharaoh really does not want to be caught today. I see your damage, Pharaoh. Okay, let me see if we can actually probably get him this time. Come on. Thank you, and good night to you, Pharaoh. Diddling. Pharaoh, the big Pokemon. Yeah, Pharaoh has got that long beak of his. And it is definitely good for utilizing a move called a Drill Peck. So yeah, that's doing something. But anyways, no. Alright, let's see if we can find not only a Pupitar, but also a Kangaskhan. Okay, so that's 2 Pharaohs now. Okay, so we find one more Pharaoh, Gligar, and we're done. Oh, here's Pupitar. Oh boy, here we go. Okay, let me see. Well, at the very least with this Pupitar, yeah, unlike the Larvitar, we can actually weaken him. So I guess that is a good thing. But now it is really just a matter of if I can actually don't spend too much time. I'm actually trying to actually get him though. Oh boy. Yeah, I still have that horror show about that freaking Larvitar back at Soul Silver. Okay, maybe it's one more and we should be good. Okay, yeah, I think we should be good. Okay, let me see if we can get him. Hopefully enough. And let's see if we can make this work. Nope, not one. Yeah, we're gonna be here a while. Oh god, don't use Fresh now. God, this is gonna be a pain. Yeah, I'm concerned if he gets himself, if he actually gets himself confused, and he's gonna kill himself. Oh god. Why does it have to be like this? Okay, please get him. God damn it! No! Damn it, no! Oh, crap. Come on, please. Come on, I don't want to lose another Larvitar / Pupitar again like I did before. Come on, please. Oh, thank Christ. Oh, thank Christ. Whew. I was way too close for comfort. Oh. Anyways, Pupitar, the hard shell Pokemon. Yeah, Pupitar has definitely got that hard shell. Yeah, he essentially has a body with tiny little arms and feet. Then, as he evolves, he essentially becomes like a very hard shell-like. Okay, now that that's done, now there's only one left that I could try to get, that being a Kangaskhan. Although that is if I don't get him, and then... Although that is if I don't find him, then if I don't find any Kangaskhan's, then maybe one of the trainers that we can fight against in the big stadium Smoke Court may have one. Okay, let's see, and... Oh, Kangaskhan, hi! I was honestly anticipating to see another Pharaoh or Gligar, but no, I would gladly take this. But anyways, everyone, as you can see here, Kangaskhan. Now, I want to say Kangaskhan's sprite is essentially the same as its Heart Gold is essentially the same as its Diamond and Pearl sprite. It's just that I feel like the only difference between the two is that I want to say its facial expressions. Yeah, I want to say its face is slightly different. Okay. Now, let me see if we can hopefully get him just rather quickly. because I definitely spent way too long here. But anyways, there we go. Alright, now I managed to get every Pokemon here. Huzzah. Well, aside from the actual swarm Pokemon, but hey, what are you gonna do? But anyways, Kangaskhan. Kangaskhan, the parent Pokemon. Yes, we all know Kangaskhan's really loves to take care of their kids in their pouches, in their pouches. Anyways, there we go. We are done with the. Anyways, we are done with the one encounters. But anyways, I'm definitely gonna be continuing on for the rest of this route for the next part. And so to then I'll see you guys next time.